Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm White Lightning. Welcome back to Star Wars Empire at War, playing as the New Republic in my Principles of Empire at War campaign. Last time, we successfully conquered the capital planet of the Eriadu Authority, Eriadu itself, with minimal losses, had enough mass, we were able to make it happen, and then, of course, our epic ground hero here, Luke Skywalker, who's been doing a ton of great work for us. This time, we are going to be trying to get the Eriadu Authority to integrate with the Galactic Empire. So hopefully that's a mechanic that we'll see happen this episode, something in Thrawn's Revenge, to help bolster the AI and make the main Imperial faction, whoever that happens to be as far as strength goes, make them a little bit stronger as you go into the mid and late game. Keep the game interesting for a little bit longer. We will be turning up the difficulty as soon as that Eriadu integration happens. But first, we need to take the ground of Senraf 6. We had Admiral Nance's fleet take the space over it. They do have a hypervelocity gun, which every successive month that we keep a fleet parked up here over Senraf 6, that hypervelocity gun will destroy a random ship. So we don't want to let that happen, obviously. We want to get the ground army over there as quickly as possible. Another thing I want to do is get Lando, actually, off out of Akbar's fleet and send him over to Eriadu because I'm wanting to use his 10% purchase discount to start getting some of the structures built up so we can get Eriadu a little bit more built up. Like I mentioned last time, Eriadu is going to be a really good planet for a trade port, so let's get a trade hub built up there. And then let's send Lando down here to Sluis Van as well and have him rebuild at least the starbase over Sluis Van, and then we'll actually get him started heading back to Senraf 6 as well, because we're about to take this planet, conquer this planet. One other thing, actually I'm not going to buy anything else because I'm going to wait for the next month to roll over and then buy Mon Calamari shipyards up on Mon Calamari, and then we can start turning out some of those Mon Cal ships for a lot cheaper. Let's go ahead and drop Luke down. Should be a lot of infantry on this planet. They have 2 infantry units and then the barracks, and so he should be really good. Not really a lot to threaten him there. No heavy vehicles, AT-ATs, anything like that. Go ahead and begin, and he spawns in here. Let's take a look and assess the map initially. For some strange reason, Luke has spawned in far, far away. Do we like have a double Luke or something like that? That is weird. That is so strange. Okay, yeah, there must be some sort of bug going on, because I think we have 2 Lukes on the map. Okay, very strange, but we're going to take, I guess, this Luke down here, and let's send him over to this command post to capture this one. How many reinforcements does this give us? 3? Okay, and this guy, let's just park him up here on the top of the map. We won't use double Jedi. That's super weird. I have seen that bug happen a couple times, actually. Okay, and there comes their infantry spawning in. Yeah, it's about equidistant. This was going to be the first command post that I wanted to come in and capture anyway, so let's just use the guy who's about the same distance away from it, and then we'll park this other Luke over there. So there's only 1 Luke, don't worry. We're going to bring in some infantry. You know, truthfully, canonically, and practically, there's only going to be 1 Luke for this battle. That's just kind of weird. Let's bring in some infantry up here at this command post, and maybe they can go capture a few of these points of interest. No, this one over here, the little wrench, will be a vehicle repair depot. These 2 with the little person symbol and the green plus symbol should be human, like infantry repair depots or medical facilities. This little droplet looking thing, I believe, is a faster vehicle movement, like a vehicle depot that gives you faster vehicle movement on the map if you capture it. And then this up here, this icon will be a sensor node, but none of those seem really important for this battle, especially since I am expecting it to be a very easy battle. So probably won't break my back trying to get to any of those and capture those. Maybe the vehicle movement one, maybe the sensor node, but we're going to capture this command post, which is really close to their base anyway. So I don't really see a need to go nuts trying to capture any of those. Let's bring in our artillery down here. Let's bring in some armored freerunners. And then I think we'll go ahead and bring in the turbo blimp, even though that does limit us on the number of vehicles and other units we can have. And then we'll bring in these T3 tanks, these heavy tanks. This infantry, meanwhile, I want you guys to go capture this other command post. We'll send one of them to hit that vehicle depot, and we'll send another one to get that sensor node. Set our artillery to hotkey 2, which is what I always do. You're always going to see that from me. For some reason, I'm just like, yeah, this makes sense. This turbo blimp we'll send down here, and then we'll get... Actually, yes, our real Luke. I'll set him to command group 1 so that I can just hit 1 and pull him up there. We'll send him over in the direction that we saw that infantry start to come in. Then we'll send these heavy tanks, start them crawling towards the main enemy structures on the base here. Alright, yeah, looking good. We'll send these other vehicles that direction as well. Okay, so we got our additional command post and our additional population cap. So with that, let's go ahead and bring in a company of AACs, and then I'm not really worried. In fact, I'm probably going to pull all these guys back. That's not the useful sensor. There are two types of sensors. This one just gives better fog of war reveal, and then there's another one where you can ping elsewhere on the map and see what's there so that you can call in a bombing run without having a unit within line of sight. I was about to say I'm going to pull these infantry back, but it looks like their infantry is assaulting this point. So let's bring in some of our anti-infantry T2B light tanks and have them help out against these two squads, and we'll have these guys take cover as well. With that, we should be good to press. Turbo Blimp, you can come in as well. Man, I'm hoping they're not going to push all that hard. Maybe they will, though. Maybe they will, and maybe this is going to end up being their main direction and their main weight of effort here. Okay, so let's send this squad and have them come capture this build pad. I think we're going to build an anti-vehicle turret there, because we can deal with the infantry with our light tanks. We cannot deal with any heavier vehicles that they start to send to us. So tanks are engaged. Luke is going to be engaged here. Let's get our artillery to move in closer to the base so it can range that. And then we'll take Luke and have him take out these infantry, because again, that's going to be the main thing that he's good at. Turbo Blimp, you can start taking out this building. Yeah, and this is good, actually. This is what we want to see, infantry converging on Luke, because they're not going to have a good time otherwise. And we'll get our AACs and our artillery to start working on these buildings as well. Just move them a little closer. Oh, did end up losing a free runner there. Did not properly target this turret before it could take down one of our tanks. Should be okay. Shouldn't end up losing the entire company. The way Empire at War does the math on if you lose the company or the whole unit and is no longer available for future battles on the space map. Oh, let's see. What do we got here? We may not end up needing, actually, to build a turret on this build pad. According to my understanding, it's if you lose 50% or more of a given company. So we lost one of these medium tanks. That should be fine. If we lose a second one, we'll have lost 50% or more of the entire company, and so that company will not be available in future battles and will have to be rebuilt on the galactic level if we want to use it. Yeah. As expected, this is turning into a super easy experience here. We've got these light tanks doing work on the infantry here. Did they build it? No, they did build a turbo laser there. I'm actually just going to bomb that. You know what? Because I don't want to deal with it with my vehicles or anything like that. And then let's send all of our guys up here. We need to scout around, and we need to find where the remaining Eriadu troops are, because they've got some somewhere. There's one. Nope. There we go. Actually, light tanks are going to be trash at this. So pull on back with our infantry up here. We can just hold up here and leave it to the rest of our units. Actually, it looks like we're going to end up smashing them. Oh, okay, they're retreating. Okay, that's fine. So they're going to... When a retreat is called, the units will automatically try to retreat to and get to the landing zone, the closest landing zone that the faction owns. It's not strictly necessary that they be within the bounds of the landing zone, like the green circle that appears when you click on it, or go to bring in reinforcements. As long as the faction controls a landing zone, those units will leave. However, I think those were just garrison units, so I don't think they will actually end up going to the galactic map and contributing to the Eriadu strength there on the galactic level. So we got the Dauntless, that's going to come down and chill with Sav's fleet. And then still looking to increase our increase our bulk, right? We need to get big, get good, get big, get some gains geopolitically and militarily speaking. And so to do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and queue up perhaps another Liberator for Sav's fleet. Yeah, let's get another Liberator cruiser. And then, yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. What I really should be doing, let's get Sav's fleet decent, which I think another Liberator will help with that. This Quasar is going into Akbar's fleet. And then once we get Sav at least over 100, he'll be a little more useful to us as more than just like a token defensive force. And that'll help us, and then we'll focus on getting Akbar's fleet over 200. That'll be our next focus and our next drive that we take. So we do have a new mission. Let's check out what that was. Trade Promotion Working Group has wants us to build more infrastructure. It wants us to get a goal in one space colony, which will give us 4 MC-30 Bravo frigates. So that actually works out just fine for me. And I was actually thinking in between episodes, I might want to do that at Tiburon, because Tiburon is in pretty good shape. It's going to be a backline planet soon. We're going to be able to take. Oh, they just took Bomus Cori. I don't like that. That kind of sucks. Dang it, yeah, that kind of messes with my plans, because we have to get Eriadu down to like 2 or 3 planets, and they're sitting at, what, 5 right now? We can actually check, I think, if we check the Galactic Faction statistics. Galactic Empire owns 20 planets, they have 12% of the military strength. New Republic owns 16 planets, so we're already approaching the Galactic Empire, kind of. Great Maldrude has 9, Empire of the Hand has 8, Pentastar Alignment has 8, Hut Cartels have 8, Zinj has 8, Independent Forces have 8, Minor Warlords have 6, Sea Ruby have 6. Eriadu's down to 5 planets and 2% military strength. So we, according to my knowledge, I think we have to get them knocked down to like 2 or 3. Makes me a little bit nervous for the planet of Bespin here. We've got 2 air forces here, but that's not really going to cut it. Should I move? Well, back to the mission though. I was thinking that Tiburon would be a good location to double tax, so we don't take the influence down. We need to have all of its slots built up, and the only thing that it's missing to have all of its slots filled as far as construction goes is an economic structure, which if we build this goal in one space colony, which increases our galactic population cap, which right now you can see that at the top left hand corner of the screen, we're at 629 out of 993, so not necessarily needed, but if we get this, then we'll be able to sell this barracks and get a second tax facility on Tiburon and really pump its numbers up. Double taxing on these planets that have decent income but few slots to fill is actually really efficient, because you have to build them up less in order to fill all their slots and get that double tax bonus. So with that, before we sell that barracks, I think I'm going to get just a couple more infantry, mostly defensive, I think, while that barracks is here. And then we'll actually take Han and Chewie's little defensive force and we'll move it over to Bespin, because I do not want Bespin to get attacked. Oh gosh, should I do that? Or should I try to defend it in space? It's not really a big space fleet there anymore. Hublin, it would be capable of tearing through Bespin and our space station there, but fascinating. Well, either way, I think the next thing to do is to go for Survivrin. And we'll do that with Sov's little fleet. He should be more than capable of taking Survivrin down. And we'll send that Liberator to meet him down there. It won't be necessary for this battle, obviously, but we'll send it that direction. And at Sinraf 6, I am building that up, right? Didn't forget to do that. Yes, we're good. Okay, building up taxes, building up a trade port on Eriadu. Our economy is about to really take off as we take all of these planets and get their income pumped up. Income doesn't immediately start counting for... You don't get the full amount of income from the planet immediately. You have to wait for the previous faction's influence to wear off, and helping get your influence up by building like the local capital structure, for instance, is the best way to do that right off the bat. That helps get your influence up quickly so you can get the full income. Okay, they do have a stronger ground force here on Survivrin than we were used to, but I think we should be able to take it, especially if we... I don't like that they have these Lancet wings. These are aerial gunships that can do a lot of anti-vehicle damage, and so if we move in with our current force, which has no dedicated anti-air units, either ground-based or air-based, these might end up being kind of a problem for us. A lot more vehicles too. So go ahead and fight this fight here. Should be really easy, just a couple of corvettes in space, a Raider corvette and an IPV. And so we can get Admiral Sov to work, get him to start earning his pay here. Yeah, just a couple of corvettes here. Admiral Sov, come on in. He's in small ships. We do not have any large ships in this fleet, and that's a bit of a problem. We're going to want to be really careful with this fleet's capabilities. There we go. I didn't need to bring in the interdictor, actually, because we can destroy these corvettes before they're willing to retreat. This way we'll have to blast through all of the enemy space units. But let's go ahead. One cool thing that I like about Dauntless is they have this ability where we can jam missiles and make the missiles miss. So did you see how those concussion missiles started spinning out? Yeah, it's because we jammed them, and they're not going to be able to find their targets when they're within range of this jamming effect. And that's really cool. That's something that I really like about the Dauntlesses. I think they're a really good ship. If you read the description there, they are sleek and battle ready, and I think it says durable. Yeah, an overall solid cruiser with no notable weaknesses, so pretty solid there. I'm going to take all of our fighters and bombers and have them start making runs on the Golan there, and then let's grab our A-Wings and have the A-Wings as our dedicated dogfighters. That's what they should be doing, right? We'll leave our capital ships back just a little bit because they, like I say, are not the most tanky things. The Dauntlesses are pretty solid. They've got 4,200 hull and 4,000 shields, which makes them quite strong for the class and the price that you pay for them. But don't want to risk it, right? Don't want to risk any losses here on this, what should be an easy battle. We can watch all those bombs. That's our bombing run from our bombers. Look at that cloud of bombers up there in the screen. That's really cool. Yeah, this I wouldn't even call this a fleet necessarily. This is more like a Rebel task or New Republic task force. Small task force raiding the Eriadu Authority and providing the orbital support for the incoming invasion. Okay, so now we can move our ships up and have them start working on the shipyard. I will send this one Dauntless over and this one Liberator as well. And then let's get our Quasar and our Interdictor up a little bit closer. I still like to keep them on the back line, but we can get them a little closer. Just if any fighters spawn, they'll be useful. And then if the Eriadu Authority sneaks some bombers back there or something, we'll be able to respond a little bit better. This set of A-Wings, you guys can go take out this R-22 Spearhead Squadron. So this is like discount A-Wings, right? Kirkland signature brand A-Wings, the R-22s. If we mouse over them, inspired by RX. Spearhead, at the bottom of the description there, it would later receive a wide-ranging upgrade program and develop into the famous A-Wing Interceptor. So those are A-Wings minus. If we look at the stats on the R-22s, they have just fighter laser cannons, and then our actual A-Wings have concussion missiles as well, and then the squadrons carry a little bit more. And it looks like they've got better shields as well. Better shields and health on the A-Wings as opposed to the R-22s. Kind of fun. I do kind of like the variety of the fighters that are in this mod. The variety of units in general is great, right? You have a lot of options. You can really build out your fleets and armies, and especially when you do things like mission rewards. Oh, we lost one CR-90. That's a little bit sad. Not quite what we wanted to do. Sov's fleet in general is pretty weak on point defense, so I'm going to come over to Sullust and queue up just a few CR-90s. They're really cheap. They're really quick to build. Let's get a couple CR-90s and a Nebulon B, and that'll end up going in Sov's fleet. And then, as long as I don't buy anything else, we should be fine. Let's see. Do I want to bring over some snow speeders? I think so. Yeah, as long as we don't buy anything else this month, we should be fine to buy the Mon Calamari shipyards up at Mon Cal, which is what I would like to do so that we can get some cheap Mon Cal ships flowing out. Okay, they have actually vacated most of their forces off of Bomis Corey. Actually, no, I just ran out of spy ability. Okay, yeah, so we can buy Mon Cal shipyards. So let's go up there and do that. Something we want to do right away. Just double check, make sure that our heroes that are up here don't give us any sort of economic discount. It's looking like no. Okay. Aaron Kraken, he gives the Salvager trait, which means that any enemy that you destroy in battle with him, he will refund any enemy unit. You will get a small credit bonus for doing that, and that adds up and goes into your credit pool for the at the galactic level, which is super cool. So he should probably be in a offensive army as opposed to a defensive army. Unfortunately, he is stuck doing defense on Mintuine right now, so not really an option for us right at this moment. I didn't actually click the button. Let's go back and do that. So Mon Calamari, going to cost us 10,000. Like I say, I think it's going to pay off in the long run. Also, I do kind of like how that'll incentivize us to have kind of a regional split and a regional difference in our fleets in different corners of the galaxy. Mon Calamari is going to be turning out Mon Cal ships, and obviously our fleets that are built up north are going to have a little bit more Mon Cal focus. It will behoove us to focus on the Celestin type of ships, the Liberators, the Dauntlesses, the Quasars down here around Sullust, which will give these southern fleets a little bit more of a Celestin flavor. Not that we can't necessarily build the Mon Cal ships here at Sullust. Like, one of the next things I want to buy is another MC-80 Liberty to put back in Akbar's fleet to try to get him pumped up again, over 200 at least, approaching 300, and Sullust will be the only place where we can feasibly do that. But going a little bit more in on the Celestin ships down here and fleets down here, I think makes sense. So we'll wait for those T-47s to come in. We are already building up down on Sluis Van. We've got Sluis Van tax. We're making 500 credits from there. Eriadu, 1,100 credits on Eriadu. That's bananas. That's awesome. Bestman making good credits for us. Senraf 6 is ready to be taxed, but we can't afford it. We'll sit on these 946 credits and then come up here and build like our economic stations next month with a discount. We'll bring Lando up. I've currently attached him to this ground army, mostly not because he's incredibly useful on ground, but because he gives that 10% cost discount. So when we're initially building up a planet, that'll be useful to have him. Okay, you know what we're going to do first. We're going to hit the deck with Luke and begin this invasion. Like I say, they do have some medium armor. They do have some aircraft, and we'll have to be wary of those, especially employing Luke like we normally like to do. Ooh, and they have the base defenses. I forgot about that. And I do not know where the shield generator is on this map. Let's take a look. Anything we want to seize. We could get some free infantry up here, which could be useful because then we could take the free infantry and send them on these infantry-only paths at the northwest corner of the map. And then there's a, looks like a vehicle factory, abandoned vehicle factory of some sort down here at the bottom left corner of the map. So we could go a couple of different ways. They're going to force us to choose to go one of a couple of different ways. I think the first thing I'm going to do, because I would really like to take down that power generator, that's going to be one of our immediate targets, I'm going to bring in those T-47s, those air speeders, and we will use them as scouts. The way they're intended to be used, right? Or at least partially. We will use them as scouts and send them around the perimeters of the map to try to find where that power generator is. Luke, again, to take advantage of these infantry-only paths, I think we're going to send him up north here. We'll capture this command post with him, and then we will probably send him maybe to try to sneak back into the base and do some raiding, take out a structure or two before they can spawn additional reinforcement garrison units. Let's try that, and then again, back here farther on the back line, I think it makes sense. Oh my gosh, did I forget to grab everybody off of the ground up at that previous planet? I might have done. This looks a little light. I'm missing our T4s, our heavy tanks. We only have one unit of heavy tanks here on this map. That's my bad. I did not mean to do that. Let's bring in, though, like I do at this initial command post, I think it makes sense to bring in your or reinforcement point. I think it makes sense to bring in your fast-moving units just so that they can get into the battle quicker, right? Bringing in our heavy tanks here and our artillery, stuff that'll be more beneficial to us closer to the front line, doesn't make sense to bring them in the back. So if we can afford to, if we can capture this command post really quick, we might as well bring in those slower ones a little bit closer to where they're actually going to be fighting. Oh, and that's super easy. Awesome. First place I sent them. I promise I had no idea where those guys actually should be going. Yeah, we don't have very much infantry either. So I'm going to actually leave our infantry out and send Luke right off the bat to capture this. Going to bring in our slow tanks. Going to bring in our artillery here. And then going to bring in our turbo blimp. And then all of you fast-moving fellas, let's move you up here to cover kind of this avenue of approach past this Eriadu turret that we can see on the mini-map. Not going to approach it. Going to rely on these T-47s to fully take down that power generator, but that's going to be huge. That's going to make this fight so much easier, fighting that right off the bat. Turns out I chose wisely, and scouting out is paying off for us. So we'll deploy our artillery so that it will be useful and start firing. Should start barfing out some missiles at this infantry coming in. We'll get this infantry up ahead, and we'll send them up here. Luke, like I say, I want you to come back here onto this infantry-only path, and we'll have you maybe raid into the base a little bit closer. Get the air speeders down here. And with this, I think, okay, yeah, everybody here, the turbo blimp and the big tanks are going to have to come down to this path. Oh, and there's some of their larger tanks. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, and there's their air support as well. So let's get our T-47s to start working on those immediately. Artillery, I want you helping out against the tanks. Ooh, yeah, those do so much damage. Air speeders, come on. Tear them up. Yeah, those Lancets are rough on heavy vehicles. That's what they're optimized for. But it looks like we've already got them to divide. Ooh, they do have an anti-air turret. So we're going to want to destroy that. Hopefully we can hit it with the artillery, or we can move the artillery to where it can hit it. Because I don't want to run those air speeders into that. Okay, there's one down. One Lancet. I'm actually thinking of getting repairs here. That's going to be important. and useful. Oh yeah, that's super sucky. Why would you park that right there? Because to go get that, I'm gonna have to fly right in the range of their anti-air, and I don't want to do that at all. This tank, I want you to turn around, go back. Turbo blimp, you can start working, and these lighter tanks, you guys can start working on that tank as well. Let's move up here. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to send some infantry back on this infantry-only path. Let's use Luke to start killing this bunker because its vehicles are actually going to be doing some rough stuff to him. Oh my gosh, and those T-47s. Okay, this is what I mean. Sometimes your own units in Empire at War are their own worst enemy. Oh, dang it. Yeah, we just lost most of that company of T-47s because they just decided on their own, hey, it's a good idea to go to go chase this enemy unit right into the range. Ooh, and that Lancet can still range us. Dang it. Yeah, the T-47s decided that they wanted to go chase right into the range of the enemy anti-air with no consideration for what the threat picture actually looked like. So that's really unfortunate. I'm going to bring in some light tanks down here, mostly just to hold this command post. I don't want the bad guys to take it. Don't want them to capture it from us. That would just kind of be annoying, and we'd have to clean them up later. So we'll bring in those light tanks there. Still fight the main fight here, and let's see if we can get up with the turbo blimp and everything. And can some of those missiles hit that Lancet? Yes. Okay, the Lancets are down. Okay, cool. I forgot that AACs have pretty good anti-air capabilities with their missiles. They're not dedicated anti-air, but they can do okay. All right, Luke. Yeah, keep slicing. This infantry here, I want to get you guys up so you can start helping out against the infantry. This is a mercenary phalanx trooper squad. Interesting, so these are Chiss who have been exiled from their clans. Chiss, okay, that's the race of blue-skinned dudes and gals, blue-skinned people who live out in the unknown regions, and they have their whole own little empire that doesn't play well with the rest of the galaxy, basically. So, okay, so Luke is slicing at their infantry. I was thinking I wanted to bring in our last remaining snowspeeder and do some scouting out, and because we now have a bombing run available, would like to scout out and see if what we can bomb as far as the enemy base structures go. But it looks like those T-47s would have to fly, or that speeder would have to fly basically directly over their anti-air that is still here. Ooh, and Luke is taking it out, but he is also getting hurt because he's getting ganged up by speeder bikes. Yeah, Luke, let's pull you back. Let's pull you back here, frankly. Maybe you can capture this command post. Yeah, so their tanks should not be able to follow and chase Luke into this. The speeder bikes and the infantry will, so that's of slight concern to me. Meanwhile, this group of forces is in pretty good shape. Let's move them up and take out that bunker, and we'll have the artillery artillerized against that bunker as well. Oh, yeah, run, Luke. Okay, we're going to stealth him, and we're going to make him sprint away. And then as those speeder bikes continue to chase him, we'll bring up that one remaining T-47, which should be able to hit this speeder bike. Let's go. Oh, what unit was destroyed? That was probably an AAC or a free runner. Okay, yeah, armored free runner. Okay, they've got a heavy tank here. Turbo blimp should be able to do some work there. Let's have this infantry take cover. Oh my gosh, they've got another anti-air. Dang, nabbit. Pull out, turbo blimp, pull out. Why are they going so heavy on the anti-air? Could it be that they are just being effective against my composition, which is a little bit air heavy right now? Dang, hate it when... Wow, first of all, I hate it when these speeder bikes are good. Yeah, because they just destroyed my freaking last T-47 was just a pair of speeder bikes. 3 speeder bikes, I guess, is what they had, but yeah, it's really unfortunate. And those speeder bikes are going to run down here. Let's get our light tanks that I was going to keep guarding this command post. Let's have them come up here and be available to do some work against those speeder bikes, if we can. Artillery, need you a little closer to the front line, frankly. Okay, let's start working on that, and then let's get our turbo blimp. Unit destroy, that's another, more of our tanks going away. Wow, they are really... This is a... Yeah, I told you this would be a little bit rougher of a fight. Okay. Yes. Artillery go burr. Just took out those speeder bikes. That's awesome. Yeah, I told you I was afraid this was going to be a little bit rougher of a fight with both how built up the planet is and then the garrisons that they had on it. With this build pad, we're going to build a repair station, a vehicle repair station. And we'll just hold here and let all of our vehicles repair. Luke, come back. You can get that infantry before it gets back through that path.
Yes, Commander.
Artillery is going to artillerize. That's awesome. Very good. And I don't have any scouting units because I still have a bombing run. Maybe I should have been using the bombing run against some of those forces that were coming at us, but I like to save those for like the base, the enemy base.
What are your orders?
So I think my plan is take Luke.
Standing by.
Yeah, artillery.
Yes.
Kill that anti-air turret because that's really
I'll be
annoying.
there.
We'll take Luke and we'll get him into
I
the base,
understand.
and then we'll bomb and
At your command.
orbitally bombard
I'm with you.
the structures in the base so they stop spawning units for them. There's one. So let's just, I mean, no reason not to just, ooh, maybe I can get a 2-for-1.
Stay close to me.
Let's see if we can get both of those structures down
Don't underestimate.
with the bombard. Yeah, we did it. Excellent. And Luke will kill that, and then we'll call in our bombing run, I guess, just on this. Perfect. Okay, Luke, you go down to clear out that landing zone. We'll take all of our units here, who should be pretty healed up. Yeah, everybody looks like they're in pretty good shape. And we'll head down here and check out this landing zone here.
Let me help
Oh,
you.
gosh, there's a large tank there.
Copy.
Turbo blimp. See if you can go deal with that. Oh, they're retreating. Okay, excellent. Okay, so they might be getting away with some units there, but I'm not going to have to chase down every unit that was on the map. So that is going to be very excellent. And we didn't end up spending a ton of money. We lost some T-47s because they, again, blew themselves into some anti-air. That's a little bit annoying. Lot of planets being conquered. Greater Maldrude conquered Mario and Emberline. So Greater Maldrude, these red guys up here, running into the corporate sector, actually. The corporate sector, this is basically like the evil mega corporation from sci-fi dystopia. That's who controls this purple territory up here. Greater Maldrude getting up there and taking one of their planets is really interesting. And then Emberline, can't remember where that is. Somewhere, obviously, where the Greater Maldrude can get to it. So the Greater Maldrude might actually end up being the threat that pressures us here in the Moncal region of space. The Zinj Empire, Zinj territory has shrunk a little bit. They have two cut-off planets here, Rivester and Stenos, but then they have started snaking their way. Oh, actually, it looks like the Empire took Borleas back. Zinj's Empire had initially taken Borleas, but the Empire has refortified that line, defending Coruscant. So, okay, well, that's great. Taking Survivor, again, great news for us. We cannot quite afford any of the units. Oh yeah, here are my other ground units. See, they're not doing much use there in space, so that's really obnoxious. But let's see, the next planets we're going to want to take. Oh, and we got that Golan 1 space colony, and we got 4 MC-30Bs at Tibrin. Awesome. Ooh, and what variant are these? So this is the, okay, so the MC-30B is the less common but still capable variant of the MC-30C. So that's what the little like radar dish icon on the side of it is there for, is just denoting that it's the MC-30B as opposed to the C variant. I'm going to split these guys in half. And I'm going to leave half of them in Akbar's fleet, because again, that is something we want to build up a little stronger. I'm going to come over here to Celeste and build up a couple of spies, because it's what we can afford this month. And I want to spy on Naboo and Bajik. And really, I want to spy on everything. But Naboo and Bajik for now will be good ones. And then, do I want to send these other two MC-30s into Sov's fleet? Sov's fleet is actually looking pretty good. His fleet is, now that it's at like its base level of what I need it to be, it's got this extra point defense. So I'm going to send them down there with them. My other focus is going to be Akbar first, and then Nance, and then we'll leave Sov's fleet as the third fleet. We end up building up to full strength. Let's also take our ground army off of Svyvran and move it back to Senraf 6, because they're not going to be attacking us from Bajik with a ground army, most likely. Also, looking at this here, so the Empire owns Naboo, the Eriadu Authority owns Bajik. Unless they randomly have a bunch of ground units parked here on Bajik, we do not have to worry about an attack against Svyvran on the ground. Maybe just a raid if they have a powerful fleet, but we're starting to get a decent fleet, almost 120 pop cap in Sov's defensive fleet there, which is pretty good. Oh, it looks like the corporate sector just took back Mario. Okay, so a little bit of fighting here between the Greater Maldrude and corporate sector. Interesting to see that territory going back and forth. I see something like that happen and I'm like, yes, absolutely, fight amongst yourselves, all of my enemies. And oh crap, I moved Lando away before I got his 10% discount on the Svyvran buildings, but that's okay. Senraf 6 is one of those that it's going to be really beneficial for us to get a trade port on, so we'll do that right off the bat. We'll also tax Senraf 6. Let's see, anything else I want to do? Celeste, I was talking about getting another space unit for Akbar, but we can't really afford it right now. We could get one of the more minor space units. Can't really afford it right now, and I think my priority is still on building up our economy. We're now up to 7,600 credits per month, so that's going to be really good. And then this spy that's coming in on Sullust, we'll go ahead and queue up one more spy. 2 more, actually. So a lot of spies, a lot of our income going into spies, but we need intel. We need recon. That is I guess that would be the principle of security, and that's really what this overall Eriadu campaign is about. When we talk about principles of warfare, what we're doing is we are securing our back line, we're reducing the number of enemies and the number of directions that we can be attacked from. So that really is what the security is doing, and you saw me doing that too with the anti-infantry tanks that I put in on that command post down on Survivrin. Getting those anti-infantry tanks there to secure our rear line, secure that avenue of approach that the Eriadu Authority ground forces could have used to get in behind us and flank us and potentially attack us to negative effect. Okay, so Bajik just has a little, I'm going to pronounce that differently every single time I've decided, and is apparently what I'm going to do. Bajik just has a very small Imperial fleet, or Eriadu Authority fleet, and then same thing with Naboo, honestly. Very small fleet here as well. A couple carriers and this mid-sized Star Destroyer, Precursor Star Destroyer, which has no fighters on it, so... What on ground does Naboo have? A lot of vehicles, a lot of vehicle factors. So that's something that I might actually want to go at them with a second artillery piece. And I think that's a good idea, especially with the discount. 525 for artillery is not a bad price at all. I'm going to go ahead and buy that. I'm also going to go ahead and buy a heavy tracker for our ground army here. This ground army here is getting pretty good, pretty built up. Minus the T-47s that we no longer have, which is annoying. I'm going to queue up another one of them here because it's good. I found it's really good to have some sort of air unit when you're on defense, and that's what this army is here right now. Han and Chewie, they are a defensive army leading a defensive force. Air units are really nice to have when you're running a defensive army so that you can go out and like kill artillery that's killing you from across the map or something like that. I really like to have them involved. We also have this infantry here, which is honestly kind of the start of its own defensive army. And I'm going to get this infantry up here to Senraf 6. Let's also check out this mission that we have. Let's see, they want us to get up to 58 infrastructure, and we'll get 3 Mandalorian commando platoons. So not spaceships. Spaceships is kind of what I want. I'm good without infantry for right now. I think our ground forces are in a pretty good shape, but they want us to get up to 58 infrastructure. We talked a little bit about this, but we haven't dived into the infrastructure mechanic. So our infrastructure score for our faction is up here. It is 52. This is a score that's centered around 0. So for every, oh gosh, actually I can't remember how it works. Basically, if we were to take the intent of this mechanic and this score is to keep us from snowballing too quickly and keep us from trying to take too many planets too quickly and then just leaving them empty. It's supposed to slow us down, put some of our credits into building up our planets instead of leaving them empty. And honestly, I haven't done a super good job of that, because if we look down here at all of these Eriadu planets, they are not very built out at all. I have a lot of empty space, basically just basic space structures, and then a tax facility on each of them, which is fine, but it does tank our infrastructure score. Having empty slots on these planets drives your infrastructure score closer to 0, and if you dip below 0 from having too many empty planets, too many empty slots, then you'll get a debuff in terms of construction cost and construction time for anything you try to build, which can be really punishing, really hurts your economy. So the intent of that is to, like I say, slow us down, force us to build up our faction's economy, force us to give the AI chances to catch up, basically. And make us take it a little slow and fill out some of these planets, even the ones that are on the back line, like Sluis Van, probably not going to be attacked at any point in this campaign, but would probably behoove me, especially since it doesn't have a ton of ground slots, would probably behoove me to build up almost fully, really, and that would be probably a good candidate for double taxing. Eriadu has a lot of ground slots to fill up, so maybe less good of a candidate for double taxing, but Survivrin, Senraf 6, with fewer ground slots, fewer space station slots, yeah, pretty good option there as well. So with that in mind, let's come down to Sluis Van, and we just really need something down here on the ground. Actually, know what? I keep forgetting. I'm going to do this. Let's build up another Moncal frigate, a cruiser rather, for Akbar's fleet, and then let's get another one of these Actually, let's get a Nebulon B and an MC-40A. Okay, that'll be good for us. And we've got tax facilities building on all these planets. let us assault Bajik with Sov's fleet, because I think they can handle it, right? Look at us using this little Celestin ship fleet in an offensive capacity. It's kind of neat. They've got 51 population cap at Bajik. We'll go ahead and begin that fight. Let's see, yeah, star system located within the Outer Rim Territories Bajik sector. Oh, nice. It is a nexus of hyperlane routes, looks like, which explains why it's on the map, I guess. I don't recognize like half of the planets in this mod. A lot of them come from books and other media that I either never read or the planet wasn't important enough for me to remember the name, which is lots of them. Okay, so since they do have this Star Destroyer, which is going to be tankier than anything we have, and because it'll be very much capable of killing any one of our single units, honestly, before we can get its shields down and start taking out its weapons hardpoints, I'm going to jump in a little bit farther back. I'm going to put this non-Sov Dauntless, because Sov does not have that missile deflection capability. I'm going to put the non-Sov Dauntless a little closer to the front, and so it can screen us from missiles. And then I'm going to put our frigate screening Sov as well. Then our couple of liberators here. My goal right now is going to be to sorry, can't do more than one thing at once apparently, which is a really bad skill for a guy recording YouTube videos to have. My goal is going to be to spawn our fighters in and have them make at least an initial run with their bombs and proton torpedoes on this Star Destroyer so that we can start taking its shields down before it gets within range. And I may have misplayed that. I maybe should have gone in even farther back. Yeah, probably so. Probably what I should have done. But we'll start getting our fighters in. Hopefully we'll be able to be a little bit careful. Okay, so we've got all the fighters spawned in now. Great. Everybody, all fighters, go for this Star Destroyer, and I'm going to tell them to target the heavy dual turbo laser batteries. That's where I'm going to get the bulk of the crowd to do. That's what I like to do. Select all my fighters, give them a target, and then I'll give more individual targets to individual units. Let's have a couple of bomber units go for the other set of heavy dual turbo lasers, and then we'll grab all of our A-wings and have the A-wings try to hunt down their bombers so their bombers aren't able to get an attack run off on our capital ships. Send this Y-wing after this other heavy dual turbo laser as well. And we'll have our capital ships stay put for now. We'll get this CR-90 up. And let's see how this goes. A little nervous. Looks like that Star Destroyer has stopped, which is awesome. They're kind of making up for my mistake for me. Like I say, I should have been a little bit farther back. Looks like our point defense is doing some work. Getting some missiles out. You, power to shields. Because it looks like they're targeting this frigate here. We'll get this frigate, this Assault Frigate Mark II, up here. And since we have bombers going for their turbo laser batteries, let's get individual ships to target their other turbo lasers. So we'll get this Dauntless to move up and shoot for that medium turbo laser battery. Sov will get you targeting a medium turbo laser battery. And then we'll grab our two Liberators and have them come up. Might actually have them work on the... Actually, no, I think we're still going to have them go for, let's say, that medium triple turbo laser battery there. This Assault Frigate's shields are starting to go down, but we're also starting to get the turbo lasers down on this Star Destroyer. Fighters are doing work, bombers are doing work. They didn't get any fighters or significant bombers through to us. Let's keep deliberately targeting these medium turbo laser batteries. This Assault Frigate also looks like it's getting healed a little bit by the Nebulon B tender that we have within range of it. So we might be able to take down all these turbo lasers. Yeah, it looks like we have. So it's only ion cannon fire coming off of the Star Destroyer now. This Assault Frigate is going to live to fight another day. Awesome. Okay, a little bit close again. Probably could have jumped in even farther back and given our fighters even more time to do work there. But turned out okay. We're going to be okay. You still don't have your missile deflection, so let's get everybody up here to assist you. This Assault Frigate will leave in the back. Let's get this CR-90 up. Let's get this CR-90 up. Start helping out. Ooh, kill that strike cruiser. And then you guys, Liberators, you can go power to weapons, and I just want you to sanitize this space, right? Get all these bad guys cleared out. Ooh, and they are retreating. Excellent. Okay, so we're not going to have to go all the way up to that starbase and clear out all the starbases, especially with some of our ships being a little bit weaker. Those would be a little bit tougher to crack. So they get away with maybe a few corvettes. Those might just have been garrison reinforcements. I wasn't keeping track that closely. And that should be a lossless victory for us. Let's go ahead and see how that panned out. Yes, we get at the very cinematic explosion there. Yes, lossless victory. We killed a Star Destroyer and a couple of support ships, and most importantly, took back this planet, took back this point in space from the Eriadu Authority. We can build a space station there. And sure enough, we have forced an integration with the Eriadu Authority integrating into the highest legitimacy Imperial faction at the end of this month. Delvardis is foolish. His actions have left us no choice but to join somebody, says this random Imperial commander here. So what we should see next episode is going to be really interesting. We're going to see these three planets, Yagdul, Bomas Kuri, and Vondark, flip to being owned to the Empire. And then the Empire is going to control Naboo and Vondark and be flanking us from multiple positions, multiple regions of space there. So that's something we're going to have to deal with, and I think that's going to be our objective next time, is push up probably to Yagdul. That'll be really nice too, because that'll connect us to Chardon, and we'll be able to link up and provide support to Chardon and Tina, however you say that, which I have so far been ignoring in this playthrough. But Chardon will be really nice, especially to have it's really defensible on ground, and it gives us the ability to build this corporation here, which give the little Imperial dude to go away, and then we'll be able to see the tooltip here. This is Utrain Tricata rather, and if we build that, that'll give us a discount on all of our T-series of tanks, which will be really nice for our ground forces going forward. So that's going to be next episode, though. Thanks everyone a ton for watching. Hope you enjoy the episode, hope you're enjoying the series, and I will see you next time.